Next, tapping in. We're about approaching a year since the affirmative action ban, and numbers are starting to come in as far as the impact that it's had on enrollment. And inevitably, it's going to we've already seen this in at Cal and different places that have banned it before. That when you take away things like that, inevitably you decrease the amount of African Americans and Black people that are enrolled. I think the numbers at Princeton and Harvard are down, and you have to be careful at even viewing their numbers, because these institutions are really, they have a lot of sleight of hand when it comes to diversity. I know when I worked at HBU, for example, like when it came to our diversity staff reporting, what they would do is they would count the janitorial staff as a part of diversity. So, to the percentage of Blacks, minorities, and Hispanics who work there, well, they added 15 janitors to that, and that's outside the spirit of what was being reported. But that's the type of things the type of fluff that gets added to diversity. So the numbers are probably going to be a lot more drastic than just what we're seeing as far as the decline that we'll be seeing in the amount of Black students that have been enrolled in a lot of these institutions. Also, one thing about affirmative action, and shout out to my boy Jason Raven for pointing this out. On an undergraduate level, it doesn't seem like a big deal, right? We got, I don't know the exact amount of HBCUs, but we got plenty of them. There's educational options for Black students. But when we get to the graduate level, it's 45 million African Americans in this country, and we only have what 4 medical schools, a handful of law schools. So a lot of our doctors, lawyers, though they have been trained outside of our institutions. So affirmative action puts a limit on that. Again, we have 45 million people that we're servicing. We have a maternal health care crisis right now, so it would behoove us to be having, as many of our trained doctors and med people as we could get out. So this thing is a lot bigger than just the abandoning of affirmative action. It's an all-out assault on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And in Texas in particular, what was added to it was a bill, SB17, which outlawed, outlawed diversity, equity, and inclusion. And here's just some of the things that have happened at University of Texas since the banning of affirmative action along with SB17. Okay, so they changed the name of the Office of Institutional Equity, eliminated the Multicultural Engagement Center, fired 49 employees who worked with diversity and equity, eliminated funding, and removed online physical resources for registered student organizations, including identity-based groups. That would include your Black Student Union, your BSU, required student groups to conduct activities off campus. So now, any cultural groups can't meet on campus anymore. Eliminated multicultural graduation ceremonies and welcome programs for underrepresented groups. So there's no more welcome programs for, any underrepresented groups that are on campus. And also, Black faculty and staff are banned from using student resources. So that's been some of the impact of like the SB17, diversity and equity and inclusion, and some of the trickle down effect of the ban of affirmative action. I have a friend who he works for really big time high end in the nonprofit sector. I mean, he said basically, man, he can't give a Black organization a dollar without a lawsuit coming. So it is a lot to this, and when you're looking at the voting and different things going on, I'm a pretty objective person, and be honest, like I've been, it's some things about Don I like, to be honest, but when I got to look at certain other things too, and a certain climate, a certain culture that's created by people put in place, whether it's Supreme Court justices and things of that nature, based on who the president is. And now you have things like a lot of these things that are being passed. It's not necessarily the bill that's being passed. It's like there's an initial hurricane or whatever, but then there's an aftershock of all these other different things. Like, not only is there an abortion bill, but now there's a bounty hunter element to it too, where even if you leave the state, there's a bounty hunter element to where you can still be. I mean, this is So it's not just a lot of things that's going on. It's not just the surface level. These things are compact with a lot of other shit included in it. So I'm not saying that, you know, all hail Kamala or anything like that, but I'm just, you know, just something that we should really kind of consider when we just look at the climate. And it's not going to get, I mean, I'm going to be honest, like I see the Negroes headed into like a Great Depression, so to speak, because there's a lot of things that's going on that we just are not prepared for. And I think with AI and things like that, I think it was Dr. Claude Anderson who predicted, I think in like 2030 something, the average net worth would be zero. And I mean, without a small miracle, I think he's spot on. So anyway, it's Rob J10X, man. 1 year since the affirmative action ban, diversity and equity. If you want to look up that bill, it's SB17.